What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today I am finally gonna be running through the Peavey Ultra Plus. Let's do it. What's up guys, hope everyone's doing great out there today. I'm pumped because I get to feature one of my all-time favorite amps today. This is the Peavey Ultra Plus. This is a 120 watt amplifier that came after the Ultra 120 and Ultra 60 series in the Ultra lineup and came before the Peavey XXX. There's not a ton of these out there because I think they only made them for a few years before they switched over to the XXX, but I can tell you that this one sounds awesome, and although the XXX is my favorite, this one is a close second. So yeah, this amp is one of the unsung high-gain heroes of the early 90s. The Ultra series was originally kind of Peavey's take on Mesa's Mark series. When James Brown designed this, he wanted everything to be kind of a little bit more independent, whereas the Mark series, everything was kind of running off the same internal circuit boards. These all had their own circuits for each channel, according to what I recall him saying on an episode of Tone Talk. So over here, you've got a clean channel with a bright switch. You've got your crunch and your ultra volume and gain settings here. And then you've got your EQ for the crunch and ultra channels. And right here, you've got a reverb dial and you've got a master volume. Right here, output, full or half. This is, I think, one of the only big boy Peavey amps that has a full or half switch on it. I have the resonance at medium. The XXX, you pretty much have to run it at loose to get a big bass response. It's just an insanely tight amp. This one, it's got a little bit more looseness and a little bit more resonance on tap. So I tend to find that medium or tight is where I keep it. Loose would be for like a really thin guitar that has no low end, but I don't really keep those anyways. Yeah, so that's what you have going on in this amp. It really is a fantastic sounding amplifier. The EQ can be a little tricky to dial in because the EQ pots are all active, so they're all dependent upon each other. So sometimes depending, like if you have this thing at a lower volume, you've got to crank the edge, which is like the high EQ, because it can be really dark until you get the power section kind of moving a little bit, and then the amp opens up and brightens up. Right now, we're moving at a really high volume. Also, I didn't notice this until I set this up last night, but the Peavey logo is completely off center and it's driving me nuts. So if it's driving you nuts, it's driving me nuts too. But anyways, of course, I had the Deadweald Duality DX engaged for that intro clip. We're gonna pull that off. We are going to be on the Ultra channel the whole time because unfortunately, this amp requires the foot switch to access the crunch channel. I do not have a working foot switch for this amp. So keep that in mind. If you ever find one of these, you're kind of stuck with the Ultra channel on this amp unless you have the foot switch. There's no way to get to the crunch channel without it. So we're going to put the gain down low. We have the Ultra gain switch out. We're going to put everything at noon, and we're going to see how that sounds just like that. All right, so as you can tell, it's really muffled unless you get the high EQ going pretty heavily. So we're gonna dial that up to 3 o'clock. There it is. So we got some presents going now. Sounds really good. It's pretty fat in this setting. We are going to scoop some mids out. See how that sounds? The bottom is pretty big as is. I think I'm going to leave the low control there for the time being. All right, so that's how it sounds with the mids down about 3. The mid knob is very touchy on this amp. It's like, usually when you're trying to find just the right setting, it's a very small area that right setting is, in my opinion, before it becomes too little, too much. So you got to keep that in mind when you're dialing this thing in. So we're going up to 7. That's kind of martially. It almost reminds me of the Butcher. If you guys ever played a Peavey Butcher, it kind of sounds like that. I think this thing needs a tech visit. The light's going on and off. There's a couple things going on here, but that's all right. Okay, so it's kind of martially, a little bit like a fat sounding super lead or something, but overall still has that Peavey upper mid thing going on. We'll dial them back to the middle. Let's crank that gain up to about 5 or noon. So we're going to put it in the tight resonance setting and see if that tightens up the low end without a boost any. Actually, it tightens it up a lot. Okay, so that actually sounds pretty decent. Let's kick up a little bit more gain and a little bit more bottom. Not bad at all, man. That sounds pretty good without a boost. Let's kick the mids up a little bit. Not bad. The low end's still a little bit flubby. So why don't we dial the gain down, kick in that duality again, and see how it sounds with the boost. Pretty thin. Let's dial that low end. All right, so we're kind of balanced out now. The boost makes a massive difference on the front end of this amp. Let's kick the resonance back into the medium setting. It definitely fills it out a little bit more, so let's pull the bottom back a tad and a little bit more on the mids. That's about the most balanced it sounds like that. That sounds pretty damn good. That's fun. All right, so let's scoop a little mid out and add a little high end in. Man, that's got a cool growl to it. That's pretty scoopy and bright, but it sounds pretty neat. Let's get a little more gain going. That sounds great to my ears. Seriously. Man. Okay, so that is the ultra channel with the ultra gain out. So let's engage the ultra gain and shut the boost off. All right, so that immediately adds more gain, kind of thins the tone out a little bit. It's almost like adding a boost in. And yeah, it's not as extreme as it is on the Ultra series. If you play the Ultra series, you kick that in, there's no boost needed. I don't know if that introduces some sort of clipping, but it's like insanely tight, very saturated. Here, you can still run a boost with it and it sounds good, but let's scoop a little mid out, add a little bit more bottom in. Gain's pretty good where it's at. Kind of has a weird sound when you scoop the gain. I'm not digging that. You can tell that gain dial is really touchy, just like I said, so. All right, real quick, let's lower that gain, kick on the duality. So now we're boosted on the ultra gain, engaged. All right, I'm having way too much fun. Before I forget, because I keep forgetting in every video that I do, Voodoo Custom Pickups Alchemist in the Bridge, this thing rules. I am gonna grab my 7-string real quick and play a couple drop tune riffs for you guys. I never play this thing, it's probably not in tune. And I honestly don't even know any riffs on a 7-string guitar. That sounds good, right? We're on the Ultra channel with the Ultra gain engaged. I'm getting a ton of feedback out of this guitar. I don't know why, so maybe this isn't gonna work quite as great as I thought. I'm just playing random stuff at this point. This did not work out very well. I apologize. I'll get a drop C tune guitar for next time. But yeah, that has been the Peavey Ultra Plus. I hope that you guys found this video helpful. I was having a lot of fun revisiting this amp. It's been a while since I played through it, so not a lot of great demos out there on this one. Not saying that mine are anything special, but I try to give you guys the best rundown I can and the best descriptions of what I'm hearing. If you like stuff like this, I've got a ton of high gain amps that I've already done demos for. I've got a ton more to do. I'm doing overdrives, I'm doing pickups, all sorts of stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it if you considered liking the video if you enjoyed it, hitting that subscribe button to come back for more. I'd love to have you here in the future. All the links that apply to my channel are down below, including my Patreon, my Facebook group, my bands page. I also have some Amazon affiliate pages that help me earn a little bit of money off this stuff. So anything you guys click on really helps me. I'm really happy to have you guys here. I'm having a lot of fun with this channel. So yeah, hope to see you guys next time. Kyle here again. We'll see you soon.